What's up, everybody? What's going on? Little dude, I see you like once every 3 months. I have been dying for the last 2 weeks. Technically everyone's been dying for the last 2 weeks, just in a different way. Anyway, we're back. Lots changing. I probably won't be streaming at nighttime anymore, because I'll be able to stream during the day. And there's a lot of people on the other side of the world that never get to join the streams because it's like 4 a.m. for them. So I'll be doing it probably earlier in the day. I don't exactly know what time. I'll probably just like start going live when the schedule makes sense, and then it'll be like, I don't know, 7 hours earlier than normal, but then I might be able to stream for longer because. So, I have missed CitizenCon. It was awful. I was like 3 days away from CitizenCon and I started dying. So, I was going to do a little CitizenCon watch party, but that didn't work out, so. I also tried to watch CitizenCon while it was live, but I tuned in late. It's actually a good thing I didn't do a watch party, because I would have been an hour late and then only been able to watch the last hour, because I got the time wrong. I mean, it said 2 p.m. my time. Turns out it was 1 p.m. or like 1:30. I don't know, they did a weird thing where they went live for half an hour and didn't do anything. And then, because I thought it was 3 hours long. I was like, oh, it wasn't 2 hours. And it was like, no, the first half hour was nothing. It was a countdown. So, but then they made it so you couldn't rewind the live feed. So I was just like, I'm not going to watch the last half of it and then like go back and watch the first half. I was like, I'll just, when I start streaming again, I'll just watch it all. And so I've been waiting. So I have no idea what's going on. I saw there was an update, like 4.3.2 came out. So I jumped on and tried to get things organized, and then I lost my home base. So that's weird. When I log in in the apartments, not in my hangar, because I don't have a hangar. So I'll have to figure that out at some point. But yeah. So probably won't play the game much today, just for reasons. Maybe I'll do a little low fly later. We'll see how long this actually goes. I might skip a bunch of parts. I like Jared Huckabee, but I don't really want to watch. He's an actor, and he's got lines. Although I think he improvs a lot of it. But what is going on? Oh. Alright. That share the screen. So there was also I wonder if I can get this video. One of the low flyers in the group chat, I believe he's from Switzerland, and that's where Chris Roberts was watching CitizenCon from, at a little event there, and he got a little I don't know how I can actually do this. I hope I don't show anyone's information or anything, but we'll do it full screen so it's not. So he got this. He got Chris Roberts to give us a shout out, which is pretty awesome. Check this out. I thought this was pretty cool.
Oh, you ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay. Shout out to all the low flyers out there, because I got to say, when I show things that you can do in Star Citizen that blow your mind, I always link to several videos of everyone flying about 3 feet over the ground and doing crazy maneuvers. And also, I have to say that whoever does the camera work,
hell yeah,
really good.
That's
almost
noob gaming.
Like if I was watching something on TV, a sort of extreme sports thing, it's like that. It's really great. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
I think that's his wife. He's doing well for himself. So I thought that was pretty cool. One of the low flyers got him to give all the dudes a shout out. So that was cool. Why is this not working? I hope the audio is working. I don't know if it was. I think it was. Alright. So, CitizenCon. I've heard some things. Like, I've seen some people talk about some things. Apparently we're getting Nix sooner than I thought. I thought we would get it by the end of the year. Like the end of year patch. But it's November, I guess. Which is definitely sooner than I thought. Some people were whining about ships that they thought they were going to get. But it's like, I think most people thought the ships, like the Perseus and stuff, those are going to come for IAE. No, we already had Invictus. IAE. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. So, I didn't actually expect too many ships, but apparently they did roll out some ships anyway. So we're gonna check it. I don't actually know what ships, so we're gonna check it out. Or do I know a ship? They talked about one on Citizen, Star Citizen, whatever, Star Citizen Live, I think, but I don't remember. Anyway, we're gonna hang out and watch. Turn it up.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse.
I don't know about flawlessly.
Players online and in the same space at once.
Running out of fuel mid-jump.
Server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team.
That is true.
They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to focus on quality of life and stability improvements.
Good to see you.
Something that's long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions.
9 patches?
We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters' assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not...
So, he said 2 systems in 1 year. I wonder if they'll be able to pull that off next year also, because then a lot of people are like, when's Star Citizen going to release, like 1.0? And they want 5 systems on release, and people are thinking like it's going to be like 2030. If they manage to do 2 more systems next year, 2027's like polishing, and then 2028 is most likely its release. Things kind of seem more realistic now, I think. I guess for the normies, I already thought this through. In 2023, I was saying by 2028. That's what I was saying. Just because you follow like how much they had done up to a point, and then how much they were starting to do, like how much the development process was starting to speed up, and basically you could tell it was coming like in the next 4 to 5 years. And that was 2023. So this is all lining up with what I've thought the whole time. So
all together under one roof this year. But in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for
this guy doesn't look like he
for this
sleeps.
incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
So that's a little more specific, actually, because last year was like, they kind of showed us a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't all going to come out in the year prior. He just said the stuff we got coming in the next year. So that's a little different, actually. So now I'm expecting everything I'm about to see is going to be here by this time next year. But I don't know if that's asking too much. I'll be honest. I think I prefer this CitizenCon like this. It's more prepared. Less can go wrong. But then again, I never go I've never been live, so I'm sure everyone who's been live probably prefers it to be live. I hope they didn't copyright any of this. Nyx. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that much about
With the
Nyx.
foundational technology now in place,
Who's
the
this?
content development of the game is no longer restricted,
Game
allowing
director.
us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacian Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition,
Oh, this is going to be a mining place, isn't it?
We're also going to do something that's at the heart of
They're
the
highlighting
entire
the
Star
belt.
Citizen
It's
experience,
probably
and that is to build
probably
it
mining
right in front of
centric.
you. As we have
I
done
need to
this
learn to
year,
mine.
with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Oh, is this like previously on Star Citizen?
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone
Creative
for
director.
adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the Regen Crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Mellon.
Well, I don't know.
of
I
the
didn't meet
Hawker
him.
Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
Did he say this next era? Is that a play on words? Next?
When the Nyx system was first discovered, the United Empire of Earth, the UAE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really set up. I mean, the planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get.
That's the first time the Terrapin's ever been used to scan
one
anything.
Company saw opportunity where the UAE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into
this guy looks like he's from Ancient Aliens.
As much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
Damn, look at that
So
freaking asteroid
they went
belt.
to the Nyx system and established what became known as...
So wait, Nyx is an abandoned system?
They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
You set up what they saw as their ideal society, where
Yo, I want
everyone's
one of those
voices
lights
would
for
be
my
heard,
hangar.
where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times.
I could use one of those lights. Well, actually,
So
I don't have
Nyx
a hangar
today is
right now.
kind of at an
I forgot.
interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Did he say vampires? I don't know if I heard him right. I think he said
Making a star
vampires.
system is you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
They
So
should
the
write
Nyx
books.
system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nyx is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping
Seems
force
like
in
Pyro.
Nyx.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nyx safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
The Pyro star is quite a warm star. Stanton star is quite neutral. And the Nyx is a little bit
It
cooler.
looks big. Star looks huge.
The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nyx is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nyx gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space.
I'm pretty sure you can see that in Pyro, right? No? There's like a red spot in the backdrop in Pyro that you can see.
It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
So if you run into Vandal in Nyx, and you shoot him down, are there going to be Vandal pilots in there? Like that thing that was down the Onyx facility? Because that'd be cool.
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look
space
away
snowflakes
from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light.
It's kind of a play on words, actually.
For the jump points in Nyx, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nyx and one from Stanton to Nyx.
I was actually wondering about that.
Be going from Nyx to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a
That's
huge
interesting because
asteroid belt
there's no
that
Nyx jump
is in
gates
sort of the middle of the system.
yet.
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch.
Hold on a second.
A huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle.
That asteroid's bump map is horrendous. Like you can see the
middle of the system.
Most people probably
Glacian Belt
wouldn't
is
recognize
a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners.
So it is a big old mining system.
So the rocks in Nyx are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement.
Vampires in space would be pretty cool, actually. There's like a faction, they're
A good hiding
vampires.
spot for people who are trying to
They're like really
capture,
mysterious.
maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, through empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt that QB
Delamar?
Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
I thought Delamar was a planet.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning.
Yeah, that
So
carrot
it's
looks
kind
small.
of San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce
The
within
Lagrange
Nyx,
clouds
and
look
also from
freaking
Nyx
awesome, though.
to other
Look how many
systems.
rocks,
But it
yo.
does have a CD underlayer to it.
It
Over
looks
the
very
years,
natural
you're sort of
rocks.
improving the generation method of those asteroids.
It's not like it doesn't look like an
to
even spread of
culminate
rocks
towards
like it
this
usually does in like
specific
the
point
asteroid belt
to
in
make
Stanton.
large, explorable location. When you fly towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
This is
So
going to
as
be
you
a
approach,
home
you'll
location, I
initially
bet,
see
that
a
you
very
could set.
dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You will also see growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine.
Oh, those hangars look
lots
cool.
of industrial pipes and transport systems
got like
to
a
bring
sewer
out the
vibe.
refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before we were using an actual
Super
planet,
industrious.
so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
If we took the whole shot of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in whole sea gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a
There's
team,
going to be
you will be able
massive
to
mining
load and
operations,
unload
like
cargo.
org mining operations out there.
There's a lot more
Hey, what's up,
movement on the
Equinox?
exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks.
Yeah, Delamar
It's now going to be
used to be a
fully
planet,
EVA
and they
able.
switched it to a. Oh, okay.
There will be walkways around the main landing zone to walk on using gravity plates.
I remember when
but you
Levski
can
was in the game.
drift
I
off
never went there.
and,
That's when I
go wherever
first
you
started
want.
playing, and then the next patch they took it out.
They can explore fully.
So I never
the
went
whole
there.
place, which is
But I
great.
thought it was a planet.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
It's Grim Hex
So we've had
2.0.
Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually. And there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death. All of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it.
Oh,
and
that's
so
rough.
he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in
They
seeing
just
the
killed a
fall
kid?
of the Messer regime.
What?
So
Nyx
if you
is a
take
rough
the
place.
elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other gear that you need. So if you were to die in the Nyx system, then one of the places you might come out from is the hospital in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
Mercy.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski, anybody traveling through the system. Again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
It's definitely cleaner than Pyro and Grim
When
Hex.
you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to
Minus the rats,
the HAB room.
guess. Right as I say
So
that,
within
you
that
show
room will be
rats.
pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski.
I could be a miner.
If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls. There will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there. If you explore a bit more,
they're gonna
around
have a
Grand
mission
Barter,
giver
there's
down
other
there.
routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach a Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski.
A used
and
ship? I wonder if you
everything
can
that
sell
used
ships
to be
there.
sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nix system, and refine and sell those goods there. As a lot of the content in the next coming releases for Nix is going to be mining related. So it's super important that
I'm gonna have to learn to
Levski
mine.
is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay.
I gotta buy a prospector.
So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you
Look
to go,
at that.
wow.
It's not going to be as
looks
complete as Pyro was
crazy.
when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning.
That
and
ring
improving
looks
and
like it
finding new
goes
ways.
like around the
is there
entire
anything more
system.
Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of.
Okay, so all I'm hearing right now is you're getting Nix early. There's just not gonna be anything there yet. we're gonna fill it up over the next year. That's all I'm getting right now.
Style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love
What about
to see
planets?
us come back.
Are there
And
planets?
people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago. So seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Oh, this guy's got a promotion. If he used to be a dev like that. Okay, Yoda.
So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about the Glacian Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to
Mining.
Nix is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So
Dude, those ships look so good. I love the Hornet ships. They're doing a lot of lore, actually. I don't remember this much lore for Pyro. It was kind of just like an outlaw place, and they just kind of focused on that, and then that was kind of it.
the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military
Nova.
operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like,
there's no
where am I
helicopters,
gonna be
bro.
doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations. That's
I don't know why the Vanguards exist. Does anyone know anyone that flies a Vanguard? I've tried a Vanguard before, and it was a terrible ship, I'll be honest.
It's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions.
Those Polarises look great, though.
Intersect have discovered
arrows?
the source of the illegal tech.
Oh, where was that?
Intersect have discovered the source
Looks
of
like
the
Pyro
illegal tech
4.
is in the Nix system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum, and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now, this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's
So
some
it's a
points of interest
Pyro
that you'll
copy and
spot as you go
paste.
through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the Nix system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some
Actually, it's
additional
cleaner.
design
It looks
cues
cleaner than the
that
Pyro's
QV's
ones.
planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
The Vandal. What is this? Oh, that's a new ship. Oh wait, is that just a... It looks too big to be a blade.
First time in the PU, the Vandal.
Yeah. Can we pull them out of the cockpit though?
So the Vandal are a nomadic, very, very, very violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nix system. They don't really know what they want.
That's not a
Don't know
blade.
why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station
That's a
has
blade.
really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system.
Yeah.
And they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
A stinger.
You will be contacted
Thing
by
looks
some
mean.
civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Insect sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help for...
I've called for this guy to be fired before. I take it back. I take it back. He was doing his job. I was all mad because he created an event that basically uses the cargo elevators that didn't work, right? And I was like, this guy's stupid. But then because of that event, now the cargo elevators work. So maybe he knew what he was doing. He was just like, they're gonna hate me for a little while, but then once they fix the cargo elevators, hopefully they forget. I didn't forget, but I take it back.
their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately...
Whoa, that looks like new armor and helmet. Well, at least I've never
These
seen
guys
that.
are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The
I
fight
like those
will
helmets.
be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of the what exactly is going on there, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor, they'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons, and we
So
want
new
you
weapons
to
and
get
armor?
a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersec, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station
Intersect.
and collect as much information as you possibly can.
I was like, Idris sect. What are you
Along
talking
the way,
about?
you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways.
Aren't the Vandal just after everything? And everyone?
To solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
I want to call this guy Long John Silver. He reminds me of a pirate.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
Who? Don't know what he's talking about.
This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat this mission and
I do like that they're not doing like events that are like seasonal.
There'll be a different story and different
I like the
flavor. Obviously,
permanent
we can't
stuff.
have
Like
the same thing happen every time. There'll be
I haven't done the
other missions that
Hathor
Intersect will
stuff,
offer
but
to you,
I like that it's
based
permanent, that
on
it's there.
the
If I ever
evidence
do
that we
one, I
found.
can go do it.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
I'm super excited.
Dude,
to
how many
see the
guns were
Vandal
on
and
that
the PU.
thing?
I'm excited to bring cool Vandal ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander where you get to fight the Vandal swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be
That's
right
the
back
next
in just a
update,
few
isn't
minutes
it?
to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Just keeps hitting the wall.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the
Okay, I
Voyager
don't-
Bar in beautiful scenic Orison, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own
I don't know.
CitizenCon
I don't think I need to watch
around the
this.
year of shared. Not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months, and then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nyx system. And in case you missed it because you
November.
were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second,
Yeah, I just realized, what are we doing? This isn't 4K. This is why I avoid Twitch like the plague. I was gonna stream on Twitch, and it's like 6600 is like the max, like kilobytes per second or whatever, which is like really bad. It makes 4K footage look like 720p footage. Like Twitch is horrendous when it comes to quality. Like right now, I'm at 9,000. Like I have bad internet, guys. Like not good internet. I'm streaming at 9,000 kilobytes per second, which is 3,000 more than. It's a third more. I have a third more quality than Twitch. I don't know why people spend any time at all on that garbage platform. Twitch is like the hellhole of streaming, literally.
Throughout the broadcast today, we want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using hashtag CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a CitizenCon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or awesome or one of the winners.
I don't care about a competition that already happened.
Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay afterward. Bosses Chris and Sandy are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience.
Wait, what?
Sitting in a... All right. I just realized that my bosses Chris and Sandy are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say.
What a dick.
Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck.
Dude, hiring Huckabee was probably their best
decision. Nix arrives
decision.
next month. It'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nix operation we just discussed. But throughout 2026, we'll also continue to build the star system out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nix apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling star systems, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers up for some brand new music from the maestro Pedro himself, and let's take a look at some of what the next year has to offer for the Nix system.
I guess there will be a new soundtrack because each system has its own kind of soundtrack.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nix system.
Oh, this is the Planetech V5?
Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more
This is what I've been waiting for.
We'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
What is that? I don't
With
know
Genesis,
this place.
We've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things.
Oh wow.
Biomes are now created based on the physical data
Holy.
sets.
Look at the grass,
With
dude.
the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built
It looks like Rohan.
from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few.
That's some long grass.
This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion.
Dude, that's gonna make mining really easy. Like, the bane of mining was always like trying to find the rock. But now it's like, yeah, just go to a cliff face or a mountain range. You're gonna find what you're looking for there. Instead of just like moseying around like flat plains looking for rocks to pop up on your radar.
Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the
Those look like brain bugs from Starship Troopers.
The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA.
Those are the marshlands? Bro, that looks like the marshlands. When they say we want to make it like realistic, I think that what they meant is like, we watched Lord of the Rings on the weekend, we came to work and we just recreated Lord of the Rings.
With Genesis,
like, oh look, there's Sam and Smeagol and Frodo wandering through the
we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as
Whoa.
we focus on the quality.
So those are the swamps people have been waiting for.
The quantity.
Dude, look at those
Genesis
trees.
provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest.
It looks insane.
Is a major part of what exploration.
I mean, sure, it's 4K, and I'm not playing in 4K, but
finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh yeah, when base building comes out, I'm gonna be on an island in Pyro 4. And then they show this, and it's like, I don't even know what Pyro 4 is. Doesn't matter. It's gone. Like, this is crazy.
Now I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper in.
Look at the way the light comes in there. It's crazy.
What we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
As long as it actually looks like this and it doesn't get worse. Like, they don't make it worse because of whatever issue. Something I'm noticing is like things are... So in Star Citizen now, when you go close to a planet surface, you will visually see the ring of detail. Like, it's a hard cut. And like as you get close to the ring, kind of looks like it's getting wider, but you're getting closer. And so there's not a very good range for detail. It kind of cuts. This seems like it's more it's like spread out more. I forget what the term is. I learned how to do it in Blender, where like as you move away from an object, it shows you less and less detail. I forget what it's called now.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale
that's
and
an awful
quality
beard.
that we all
Sorry.
expect. I work on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's
sparse.
continued to evolve since our presentation last
I forget what the word is.
Instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead
Can't
and
remember.
show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx.
This dude has a pube beard. It's gonna be hard to look at.
So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue.
Oh, that's
it's
lame.
not going to surface. I don't really know.
I don't want a gas giant. I can't low fly on a gas giant.
It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay.
Is that number
It's going to have
2?
some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we...
I want to live on Venus 2.0. I guess that's what that place kind of looks like. What's the moon? The prison moon at Hurston, Aberdeen. Kind of looks like Aberdeen, actually. Kind of has that vibe. When base building is added, you know that at least someone is going to build a base, and it's going to be in the swamp. Dude, when base building comes out, it's gonna be hard to actually pick a place to start to to have a base. They're making so many good spots. I'm just kind of hoping you can build one on an asteroid, so you could have like in space, a base in space. I think that'd be cool. I haven't seen a Monty Python. I haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail for like 2005. That's when I watched that movie. So 20 years ago. Holy.
Considered to be the hero planet of this system.
The hero planet?
Nix
so
1
like
has got
Earth.
a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp,
Rohan.
expansive wetlands to claustrophobic
Okay, so they have
festering
like
swamps. These
dude,
core
everyone's gonna
biome
want to live
concepts
here.
Give us a
Everybody.
fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all.
I wonder if they're gonna go back to the planets like Bloom, Pyro 4, Monox, Microtech. And I wonder if they're going to rework those whole planets so they have more biomes and stuff kind of like this. I wonder if they're going to do that.
Or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit.
Dude, that's a lot of clouds.
The orbit appearance
I don't
of the
like
planets
clouds.
going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove the orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image.
There's going to be seasons?
And allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface
That's
and
pretty
start with
cool.
something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
That's actually, there's a point there, because a lot of the times where you're in space and you're like, oh, I want to go like to this place looks like where I want to go, and you start going there and you can't like see it. It's not the same. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the same once you get there. But then you're down there and it's too late to look for a new place, and you would have to like go way up again. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's something I've run into where it's like, oh, it didn't look like this from space.
When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we previously...
So you can see, like, there's a super detailed, and then as it moves away, it gets like less and less. Like the man, I wish I could remember what it's called. I can't remember. So I made a planet in Blender a long time ago, and I had to learn how to do this thing because I had a camera like coming to the planet, and it was like super detailed with a bump map I gave it. So I had to learn how to do this thing, I forget what it's called, where, you know, as you get closer, like more detail comes in, but it doesn't do it all at once. So like right now, if you jumping towards the planet, once you get there, all the detail like kind of pops in on the planet. I didn't want it to be like that, so I actually learned how to like more detail loads in the closer the camera gets, and it's much smoother. So you can see here, like these rocks that are here are over here. You just can't see them because they're so far away. But it does it gradually instead of a hard ring where you see the detail drop off. This is like one of the biggest things I've been waiting for, because it looks a little ridiculous, honestly, especially with like low flying, where you're filming some people low flying off in the distance. It looks ridiculous, and then up close, but then you see like the ring, and it doesn't look so good.
Rock.
The clouds look crazy
that
too.
was missing from our terrain previously.
Clouds look
simply
different
feature
from
complexity.
the other planets.
Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles.
Hold on, I'm not seeing a difference. On an unrelated note, did a bounty caterpillar and scanned it only for trash? Oh, I was hoping you were gonna say I found gold or something. I was like, oh. Yeah, bounty hunting's still dead to me. I'm waiting. Distance texture scaling. It is distance texture scaling, but there's a name for it. I just forget what the name, because I did tutorials to learn how to do it in Blender, and it has a specific name of like that is what it is, but it's not. I can't remember the name. This is like 5-6 years ago, so I don't remember. I don't really see a difference here. Hold up.
These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based
I
on
didn't see any
slope,
difference.
soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values.
So smaller
and this
tiles.
gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale,
Terrain
and
tiles.
allows us to create far more unique locations.
Dude, that does look so good.
Across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before.
So a lot of walking around the cliff because you can't get down there.
Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for each
Yeah, this is going to
large
make
and
mining
medium
so
tile,
easy on planets.
Now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you.
Dude, the grass, it almost feels like this is like a cinematic, like not in engine, not in game thing. Because the grass looks way too good. It almost feels like they did particle grass, kind of like how they do hair for characters. It's almost like they did particle for the grass, which is... I feel like my frame rate's going to be cut in half. Because it's like a ton of detail. When you start doing particle on that scale, it's a lot.
The rock assets themselves have had a
It looks amazing though.
We now create rock sets related to a particular
Like, the grass looks real. It's crazy.
that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too. So now that our base terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes. Nyx 1's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations.
I hope there's a station here.
All sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland type biomes. And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today.
I do wonder if CIG is going to lease or rent Genesis or Star Engine out to other game companies. Because, like, this is core new tech. This is not like... it's kind of like they built their own Unreal Engine. Because Unreal Engine, like, other game companies use Unreal for their stuff as their engine and stuff. And they don't own it, right? They lease it. Just because, like, they can make a lot of money not even, like, making games, but leasing out their tech to other companies to make games with. Because this is crazy.
So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until...
Yeah, the grass casts shadows on itself. It's insane. Like, it's straight up insane. What's crazy is, like, the diversity. Like, you can't spot any copy and paste at all. Like, it's randomized and it's particleized. It's I mean, that's what I learned about that in Blender. You can, like, you can particleize things, so it, like, creates a bunch of them and then you randomize them, and it's like, but it sucks like a lot of juice. So I don't know how they're doing it, actually. It's kind of crazy. Hey, what's up, JP? What's going on? Yeah. I just keep thinking, like, there's no ways they built this tech. Like, this stuff cost a couple $100 million just for, like, the Genesis engine, I bet. Like, Star Engine and the Genesis thing. That is not cheap. A lot of time and a lot of money went into this. There's no ways it's just for Star Citizen. You know what I mean? Obviously, I bet CIG is going to grow and make more games other than Star Citizen. But I kind of hope they just license it out. Like you say, like, license the tech out and make a bunch of money and then just have Star Citizen. And just make Star Citizen, like, the bee's knees for, like, the next 10 to 20 years.
Now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass. With Genesis, we now leverage GPU spawning to create vast quantities of assets across all biomes, whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands.
Dude, it looks real.
We are also able to fit our ground be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you.
That looks real. They even got a little motion blur on, so it's like, dude, it looks real. Like, if you saw this, like, in the corner of your eye, you would look and you'd be like, hold a second, is that AI? Is that real? Oh, that's not real.
Can see in these wetlands. We are also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we can finally cover complex terrain shapes with...
CIG will sell off Star Engine, CryEngine, just like Unreal Engine 5. Well, I don't think they'll sell it off, but yeah, they're going to lease it to people so other people can use it to build their own games, I imagine. What's up, Haywood? Patch soon for live? That'd be good. Maybe I get a home back, because right now I have no home in Star Citizen. All my stuff is there, though. Like, all my ships, everything's there. I just can't... I don't have a hangar. Unreal Engine 5 is not very close to Star Engine. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 looks good, but on, like, a much smaller scale. Like, they'll have, like, a map, but it's, like, a much smaller scale. And I don't think it's seamless like Star Engine is, right?
Grass and ground cover assets, and as a result they are...
It's just... maybe I'm just a nerd, but like... looking at grass like this... I think it's because I've actually done some of the stuff in Blender where I understand, like... there's some, like, voodoo or magic going on. I don't know how they do this. And, like, put it on such a massive scale. Like, this isn't Starfield, where it's like a little area, you know? It's a whole planet.
Are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as it
And I just know from, like, whenever I've done particle stuff, like, there was this one thing, it was just small. It was, I had, like, a title for a video, and I had something hit it, and it turned into a bunch of, you know, like, rubble. And so I used the particle modulator thing to, like, you know, turn the text, the 3D text, into rubble, like, on the ground. And the render time was like 6 hours for like a 7-second clip. And I'm just like looking at this, and this is crazy.
not sticking out like before.
It's because it looks so real.
Next,
what is that, in Scotland somewhere? And then you see a Polaris, and you're like, oh, it's fake.
As in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance,
so
a field of grass is far more like a carpet or
they
cloth
literally
than
did
a
it like
flat
hair,
surface.
but on a huge
This
scale.
improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem.
I wonder if you could hide in the grass.
One of our biggest achievements with Genesis
Like go
is allowing
prone?
us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Like, can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down
Oh, that was
very
cringe.
quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away.
That was cringe. Orange boxes. Yeah, I'm running Windows 11. Why? No, I'm not using a VPN right now. We're all walking around on a hairy planet. I mean, that technically the grass, they've done it like hair, which makes sense. I just don't understand. Someone probably put their hand up in the meeting, was like, can't we just do it like the hair? And everyone probably looked at them like, dude, you're talking about like 1,000 kilometers of grassland particleized. That's like intense, like super intense rendering. They must be like jamming a lot of steroids into Vulkan right now to try to make this happen. Yeah, my account's not locked. I just don't have a home. I logged in to like set up my hangar because there's a new update. So I set some stuff up, and then I went to go get food because my character was at like 60%. And I went to switch servers and I couldn't. It wouldn't let me back in the games because I was shard locked. And so I reset my account because I didn't want to have to wait for it to unlock. And then I went back in the game, but I was not spawning in my hangar. I was like, that's weird. So then I went down to my hangar and I don't have one. So yeah, I just don't have a home hangar. Windows 11 has a cool setting that runs in the background that will boost your FPS in Star Citizen if you have 64 gigabytes. Well, I'm gonna have to get another 32 gigabytes then, because that sounds great. I'm not a big frame rate whore, because I was a console gamer for like 10 years. So I don't really care too much. As long as I'm above 30 FPS, I'm totally cool. But I'm not going to say no if I can get more frames. I do need a RAM upgrade.
Because
Dude,
we don't hide.
Nyx is cool and all. It looked great. What Levski, cool. Mining, awesome. This is so awesome. Genesis probably so far my favorite thing that they're showing. I've only seen 2 things so far.
Planetary transitions and allowing you to view complex regions from.
I've been waiting for the
large
Planetech
distances.
V5
There are
for
almost infinite perspectives from
since
which you can
last
see a location
CitizenCon.
in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire?
And this is
swathe
coming
of the
next
planet?
month?
Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for
Oh,
short,
they
is how we
changed the
now cache
tiles.
and represent our terrain at varying scales.
Dude, I need to look at what it's called, because I know Equinox said it was like whatever they call it in Blender, but that's not what like the person. So I learned it on Blender, but I learned it from like an actual industry dude that does tutorials now instead of working in the industry. And like the term that he used, it was like, I keep wanting to say tessellation, but it's not. That's like game. It's a game option. Yeah, 30 FPS is fine, says the low fly guy. Dude, it's just because I'm used to it, right? I'm not used to. I've never played a game at like more than 60 FPS. I can't say I have. So it's not a big deal to me, right? And I'm not a competitive gamer, so frame rate has never mattered to me. I've never chased the frame rate to be better at a game, because I don't play those kind of games really. Oh, rip. So next month we get Nyx, but it's not gonna have Genesis. Like, it's not gonna look like this. You just crushed me.
This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also
They're
how
doing
we
it from
now
such a
evaluate
far
and
distance,
represent
though.
Vegetation from a distance.
Yeah, usually like you have to
When
get
creating
much
the
closer
VT
to
for
get
each part of the terrain,
smaller
we
tiles.
assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic.
Actually, one of the last times I played Star Citizen, I was low flying on Ignis, and I was literally like on a tile line, because the terrain on this tile did not match the terrain on this tile, and it was like completely different. And so I was like just flying on the line for a while, and then the tile like ran out. But I was like, yeah, they really messed that one up. It's the only tile I've actually come across where it's like, is a visual, you can see the two tiles are not the same.
Rockscapes, those muggy wetlands,
Doesn't look very
or
muggy.
even our festering swamps.
That looks muggy.
So yeah, we didn't forget about the swamps, and they're coming to Nyx 1 as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps.
He just had a jab at Salty Mike right there, because Salty Mike has been like, where's the swamps? Like, he's been like, you know how he is. He's always complaining about something. And I remember seeing a video where he's like, did they just forget about the swamps? So that's literally a jab. No, we didn't forget about the swamps.
Now spring into existence.
This also gives me GTA 6 vibes. I don't know if you guys have seen the second GTA 6 trailer. But they show, I think actually it might be the first one. I don't know. One of the GTA 6 trailers. They show a swamp because it's taking place in Florida. So there's swamps. It's just like, they look very similar actually.
From the planetary data,
this looks a little better, not gonna lie.
this biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
Hold on. What is that in the distance? There's like a little like a crashed space station or something here. There's something there crashed in the swamp. I kind of like how it's like swamps right next to mountains. This place, see, I always had this idea they're never going to give us the Sol system, because making an Earth planet that's like literally like Earth is not really, this is not really a possibility. Even though, like, okay, yeah, they show you Microtech, and if you take Microtech and you mix it with ArcCorp, you can kind of get Earth. But seeing this, it's like they could totally give us Earth, like straight up Earth with cities and everything. I don't know to scale, because all the planets in Star Citizen are a little kind of small. But at first I was like, is that a Valacar? And it's like, no, that's like a, you can see there's like something off here too. Something really big crashed over there. Everyone's gonna go wandering through the swamps looking for Yoda.
Anyway, that's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for.
I wonder what the next systems are going to be. Because they're going to be filled with like crazy planet, like Nyx is like a practice. You can tell it's a practice system for, because when you bring in Genesis, okay, now everyone has to learn how to use it properly, and then like make, dude, they're gonna, I understand now when they're like, yeah, there's gonna be 100 star systems in Star Citizen, and people like, when in like 2080. No, like this stuff is being streamlined, like hardcore streamlined, where it's like you come into work for a couple weeks and you click around on your computer and then it spits out like a whole bunch of planets and systems that look like this. I wonder how much AI they're using nowadays. Martians. I mean, I guess, yeah. I forget that like Earth in this game would be how many hundreds of years in the future? Was it 2055 or something? I forget. 2555, is that what it is? So that's like 250 years in the future or something. So Earth could look like all kinds of messed up.
A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done
Callisto,
before.
okay.
And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems.
Isn't Callisto a moon?
Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions.
Yeah, I don't care.
No one said Holly was gone. He doesn't even play the game.
Although, I did, setting up my hangar yesterday, I did get to use a tractor beam for the first time in the new update. It might change my opinion of cargo a little bit, because you can move things so fast You don't even need an atlas anymore. Firstly, they fixed the atlas. They did exactly what I wanted. Like, it brings the thing to you, but it like lifts it up so you can see. So they fixed it. But now you don't even need an atlas because the regular tractor beams are the bee's knees. Like, you pick it up, you put it there. You pick it up, put it there. You can't drop. Like, you can't move too fast and drop the thing anymore, which is amazing. So, I don't know. Maybe I might do some cargo. We'll see. Until bounty hunting comes live again, I need to make money. So I'm gonna learn how to mine, but I don't know how much money you make doing that right now. So maybe I do some cargo, learn how to mine until bounty hunting comes back. Ballistic weapon grade tractor beams? I don't even know what that means.
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo between the...
Okay, but can I get interstellar bounty missions where I gotta like chase a dude like through a wormhole and then, you know,
stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some
So right now you can already do this just without the mission. So I don't think this is like, this guy's got big eyes and they're like, this is so awesome. You can now, it's like, yeah, you can go buy cargo in Stanton and take it to Pyro right like now and sell it. Like, I guess they're just going to give you a mission to take and do it. So it's not like, as far as I understand, I'm not a cargo buff, but this is not really major.
Go from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Helios.
So if you've never sort of...
Didn't they already do this? They already did this. Remember that when Pyro first came out, it was like January, February of this year, and they had that massive event where you could make like 13 million credits for doing a cargo, like running a bunch of cargo like through Stanton. I think you have to run like Copper and Corundum through the gateway into Pyro. They already did this last year or earlier this year. Like, what are they? I don't know what they're bragging about. Am I missing something? Because we already did this. You can throw boxes so fast you kill people. Oh. Ballistic. I get it now. Literally ballistic cargo. Like, your ammo is cargo. That's wild. Picked up a piece of a ship and beat a bounty to death with it. That's kind of funny. Oh, I hope they don't nerf it because of that.
Point or going through it, these missions will require you to.
Yeah, we did this already. Well, I didn't do it,
And
but
no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake cutter myself, between standard.
see, this is what I mean, guys. The devs play the game. Yeah, they do cargo in a cutter. How long do you play the game for when you're doing cargo in a cutter? Like, seriously, were you doing a 30k mission from here to there and then you're like, that was fun, get off for the night? You're not, if you're doing cargo hauling in a cutter, you're not doing anything. Like, first of all, cargo hauling is already boring. Doing it in a cutter, you must hate yours. You must be a nihilist. That's silly.
Just a Drake cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake cutter is really cute, so.
Dude,
One thing
add
that we're
me.
looking to
I'll give
add
you enough
with
money
these
to get you
interstellar
something like
missions
a
is
Taurus or
scripted
something.
Comet encounters where you can be
So you don't have to be
attacked by
poor
NPC ships.
in your
Maybe
cutter.
the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the
Okay.
love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical
That's new.
network, and
Yeah, do
making
it in a
sure
time
they
frame.
make sense within the themes of the systems.
So usually I'm actually against like timers in games. I feel like let the player do it on their time, the way they want to do it. But with certain things, putting a timer on actually makes you more money, right? So when you put a timer on missions and you gotta do them quick, you make more money. It's kind of the reason I liked the Quantanium. Like before, Quantanium used to blow up in like, I think it was like 12 minutes from the time it starts getting on your ship to the time you store your ship. It was like 12 minutes or something like that before it blows your ship up. I liked that because it made you do it faster, and so you made more money. It just automatically made it more efficient to make money. So I'm not against the timer thing, especially for delivery type missions.
Just
it makes
as much
sense.
love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
At the
Yeah,
start
dude.
of the show, we said we was going to build out the Nyx system right in front of you.
Cargo in a
after
cutter.
4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of
Maybe
what
you
we're
should
doing
get
behind closed
fired.
doors, so you can discover it yourself, in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
Quant doesn't blow up anymore. As far as I know, it does. It's just like it takes much longer to like destabilize or whatever. I haven't mined since 3.17, so I know they made it easier to mine. Like it's not as fast. Like you can mine Quantanium and then like fly and find another rock and probably mine it and then go back to the station. Whereas before, once you found Quantanium, I used to find like a Quantanium cluster, mine all the rocks. I used to push the 100% Quantanium rocks all in a pile, and then I would fill up my whole ship 100% Quantanium and then hit straight to station. And I'd still only have like 2 to 3 minutes, before my ship would blow up. And there's been a couple times where you cut it close, and then you're like getting off your ship and it blows up. But it's not like that anymore. 30 minutes now? See, I thought they like moved it like 5 or 10 minutes up, but it's 30 minutes from the time it gets into your ship. That's... I don't like that, but it's probably... It makes it easier, I guess, to completely fill up your ship with just Quantanium. I liked the challenge before. In the mole. That's funny that they have a mole on the screen all of a sudden. I used to solo mine in a mole. It was awesome. But only in the asteroid belt. I had a spot in the asteroid belt. I could find a full load of Quantanium in like 15 minutes. Man, I made so much money doing mining Quantanium in 3.17. In 3.17, I bought all the large ships. All of them. I guess the ships weren't as much back then. They were like the A90 Jump was like 32 or 33 mil back then, I think.
Okay, so Rockcracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rockcracker is where you have to crack a rock.
Oh, thanks, Tips.
It's
This
a
guy's a
big
real
rock.
Sherlock.
You want more?
So way out into the Kuiper belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
I like the mole, actually. I like how it looks.
These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
Oh, so they have like
One of the
Hathor
main
in
features
space?
is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working.
Like batteries?
It's up to you and your friends to
Yeah.
find how to
Hathor
get
in space.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long-forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS.
How do you mine a rock that big?
You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
I'm just gonna say, I think I'm better at shooting than whoever's filming this. They kind of just stand there and take it. I at least try to hide behind quarters. Or I hide behind you guys. If anyone's been in an ASD facility, they know it with me. They know exactly what I mean.
So you found these old facilities. You've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock.
Yeah, but when you break it apart, like how do you...
Then you'd be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
Inside, it looks like a peanut shell.
Into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship.
Okay, so it's...
And fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
It's a line of mine. You open a cave inside the rock instead of break the rock apart. That makes sense. That's actually pretty cool.
I'm really excited about Rockcracker because it's
and it makes sense because the mining ships aren't that big. The Mole is the biggest mining ship, and it's
whenever you want.
It's not that big.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit.
This guy is Mr. Obvious. This content's for players that like mining. It's like... I could not spend time with this guy, because he's just going to tell you the most obvious things, and he's going to drive you up the wall. That's funny. I just looked at his hand to see if he has a wedding ring on. It doesn't look like he does. Sorry, I'm not married either, so... It's just that kind of...
It will be very new experience.
It's just that kind of like try, like...
asteroids, because this one, kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can...
He just said kind of like a line in mine. It's like...
make a decent amount of scratch. Asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin.
Yeah, thanks.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
Which they'll never do. The econ team is
It's for people who
a big
want
problem
a lot
right
of
now in the
minerals.
game.
When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come.
I do wonder if there's like a bunch of these places though, kind of like the Hathor, right? Hathor has two places, right? Aberdeen and Daymar, I think.
And just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all three systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we...
I'll be honest, I would prefer them to wait to even like May next year to drop the Nyx system, but it should drop with Genesis. I don't know. I think giving us Nyx without Genesis is kind of like... Because what's going to happen is you're going to get the liars and the haters that show the CitizenCon footage and then what Nyx looks like when it comes out, and be like, they're a bunch of liars. It doesn't look like anything like they said it's gonna look. I can already see like all the game journalists sacrificing CIG on the altar of lies, because it's not gonna look anything like this when it comes out in a month. And I feel like it's gonna hurt them in the long run to a certain extent.
Begin populating these with new planets.
Four,
a whole host of ground-based
Horizon 2,
POIs,
Horizon 2,
settlements
okay.
and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new...
Bro, he said ganking. Lawless ganking. It's like, I'm pretty sure ganking is lawless anywhere. Wait, isn't like ganking part of their terms of service or something? I think they're releasing it that way so they can track down what's causing the crashes one at a time, I guess. But remember how they like tested Pyro? Like you could test Pyro at CitizenCon last year, and then it was like in a test whatever in the Evocati, then in the PTU for like a month, and then we finally got Pyro. I just feel like it would be better if I don't even want to go to Nyx if it doesn't have Genesis, because now that you've seen that, it's like, yeah, I want it to look like that when I go there. I hope Genesis isn't like a next year thing, like a summer thing. I hope we have Genesis in like the spring. At the same time, though, you do have a point, because Genesis is going to be heavy, like very heavy on the clients. The client crashes are going to be... Unless he did, I think he mentioned something about GPU, something or other, where they're going to, like, Genesis seems to use your GPU a bunch. So maybe, I don't know. Salty Mike is going to complain about it, then praise CIG later. That's so funny, because that's Salty Mike's channel. CIG is shit, CIG is awesome. CIG is shit, CIG is awesome. That is literally his channel. Over time, I don't see, like, I'll be honest, I don't subscribe to much Star Citizen content creators, but the algorithm obviously always shows me Super Mac Brother, Board Gamer, and Salty Mike. And what's the black dude who's like super smooth and like knows a lot about the game? He's great. He does like Star Citizen podcasts, but like those are the four that they always show me. So I've seen Salty Mike like for years, and he's literally attack, praise, attack, praise, attack, praise. It's so true. I want to take a look at... So I think I'm going to do a lot of exploring in Nyx when it first comes out. But I'm probably not going to do much else, because the Genesis is not going to be there. I'm excited to low-fly Nyx 1, though. Whatever. I hope they give these planets names. I'm still kind of cheesed about Pyro 5 and Pyro 4. It's like, Bloom, great name, makes sense, like it's great. Pyro 4, it's like that could have such a better name. Nyx is only launching with no planets. Okay, so that actually makes more sense. If they're launching it with no planets and then bring the planets in with Genesis, that makes sense. Because I'm wondering, like, what, we're going to get old planet tech planets for a few months and then they're going to drop Genesis? That doesn't make sense to me. Now that makes much more sense to me. if it's dropping with, I guess it only has 3 planets, so it doesn't matter. And one of them's a gas giant. What a waste. What a waste of a planet. Salty Mike has been blacklisted from Evo testing. Are you even allowed to blacklist people from Evo test? Don't you get access to Evo testing if you've like spent a certain amount of money? Oh, he leaked. Okay, yeah, if you leak info, that's against the NDA. So that makes sense.
The frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Should I say ganking?
So something I was actually expecting is quantum boosting. And then I remembered, like, I was expecting like a whole quantum boosting thing. And I don't know, maybe. So I'm guessing there's not. Maybe there is. I'm guessing there's not, though, because they had a whole test group that were testing the flight model that had quantum boosting and the new flight model. And then one of them leaked all the stuff. And so then they had to get rid of the whole group. And now they have to get a whole new group, which like probably pushed back the flight model at least 2 to 3 months, because some jerk off decides, well, I'm going to leak everything. Man, this is why we can't have nice things. Some people need to be like kept on a leash somewhere.
You already did.
Good job, everyone. So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion of the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockcracker. Rockcracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're going to fly into an asteroid.
Oh, that's
do
cringe.
that thing that miners love more than anything else. Complain about PvPers getting in their way. No, I'm being told it's mining. It's mining. And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets of Star Citizen, including the ones
I want to fast forward.
So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got? The CitizenCon digital.
I can't even listen to Jared because of all the cringe going on in the
That went up for sale
background.
a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items in it, and that's where I can tell you now that almost.
Oh, I can't.
There's a gunship flight suit and helmet, 2 armor sets from that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with the van.
Yo, what is this gun? What is this gun? Look at the barrel on this gun. What is this gun? It looks like an AK-47 flamethrower.
And an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple
What's
of
this
crazy
gold
weapons that I'm
box?
certain we're going
It's
to
a
learn
gold
about in just
SU
a few
box.
minutes. Some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited edition of the Vanduul to Star Citizen, a cool Vanduul knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah, it's a pretty solid haul for this year's digital goodies pack, which you can still pick up right
Second
now
gun
on
is
the
a space
RSI
AK.
store. So now
Looked-
let's go
looks
ahead
like it has
and
a
transition to our
flamethrower,
next
like,
segment. Much
nozzle.
of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in. What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once. Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's
What
better
is
judgment,
going on?
the thing has finally happened. Can I help you?
How you think the show's going?
Good. We're getting
Yo,
the Nyx star system and the Vanduul
this
are
dude
coming.
is like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone. It deserves a major showcase celebrating everybody's hard work. And
You got more, right?
well, yeah, there's spaceships coming up.
Cool.
Wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning and PCAP does.
Well, this has been super cringe,
Yeah, it has.
so I'm gonna head out.
That's funny.
Bye.
Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that.
Of course.
I think they didn't do it because at the beginning of the year, they skipped a free fly event. They paid a bunch of original funders off. Like, I don't think they thought they were going to have enough money to actually host an in-person CitizenCon, because I don't think people realize how much in just in the insurance on the actual building that, like the hall that they do it in, costs. Like a live event like that costs a lot of money, like a lot of money. But now, like the funding, they're up like 40% over last year to date, and so they probably could have actually afforded it, no problem. But they already planned ahead of time to do it this way.
Thank you. Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet. All right. No.
Oh,
No.
man.
No. Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
Spaceships.
Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe.
Yeah, I'm the same way actually. I like Jared, but that was really cringe. That was super cringe. I like his interaction with the devs, on like Star Citizen Live, and like he is great. He is great. When they hired him, I don't think they knew the freaking gem that they were hiring, because he's the face of Star Citizen at this point. He really is, and he does a really good job. I hope he's making a lot of money. I do hope. But yeah, that was cringe. I didn't need it. We didn't need that.
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period.
Actually kinda was.
And we've covered all the way from tiny
The
little
2
snubs
capital
all the way up
ships.
to capital ships.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
You had the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in without none of you expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf, obviously a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out
Yeah.
really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favourite, to be honest, because we've released, a lot of really cool ships.
I want a combat variant of the
Next year, we've got
Zeus.
some super exciting ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're going to see, again, maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships.
The Banu Merchantman.
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary
The Kraken.
factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
Anvil ship.
Anvil is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting
What
for
is
lots
this?
of military contracts and lore, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life.
Oh, the Paladin.
The Paladin is a
Okay.
gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to sustain
dropship?
sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game.
What's that, like 4 4s and 4 3s?
True dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns.
So earlier when I was like, why does the Vanguard exist? After this ship comes out, I'm really going to question why the Vanguard exists.
Big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie, It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously a very menacing silhouette.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance.
It looks
feels
very
like it's
good,
coming
actually.
towards you, even when it's
Super
just
militaristic. It's literally a Hornet and a Valkyrie, like, splashed together without wings.
sat still, and I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick
8,000
space
DPS.
between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can
Oh,
come
that's
out
sick.
and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target.
That's not actually like it doesn't actually matter, does it? Because from what I know, like the canopies are not. The canopies are treated like the rest of the ship, aren't they? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks cool.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
What size of
Which is
those?
controlled by one of the two remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come round to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is
Oh, that's
controlled
like
by
the
co-pilot.
Scorpius.
So you've got full 360 coverage underneath.
Is it the
full 360
Scorpius? I
coverage
think it is.
On top with it. And then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions.
That's good. They learned from the TAC and some of the other ships.
One of the
Some of the turrets are kind of useless.
Is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central two-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners on.
I don't know if any of you have played Elite Dangerous. I know some of you have, but one thing I actually really liked about Elite Dangerous is when your shields go down and your canopy gets hit, it actually blows out, and then you have like an oxygen backup, and like your ship, like you're in your cockpit but you're in space because you have no canopy. I always really liked that element to the game. I wouldn't. It would kind of suck getting shot through a canopy, like by a ship weapon, like you're in your pilot seat and you get. I'm pretty sure it's happened to me where because of the blast radius damage from missiles, I've been killed in my sitting in my pilot seat and my ship's not blowing up, or soft death. So it's happened to me only once that I can remember. But I was like, as mad as I was about dying without my ship blowing up, it was kind of cool. I thought it was actually kind of cool. But if they could make the canopy break open, that would be freaking awesome. And it would instantly give the Guardian and the Paladin a damn good reason to have those blast shields. I think some other ships have blast shields, don't they? Like, I think the... Does the TAC? I think the TAC has blast shields on the side, like where the remote gunners sit, I think. Yeah, the Scorpius, right? Lets you go under the bottom. That's cool. I like that versatility. Because that's a big, useful turret. And for you to pick if you want to be on the top or the bottom, that's awesome.
Underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice.
And what
kind
a
of,
view!
gunner
Like they give you
viewpoint
such a good
down,
view.
kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the two connected. I think that really helps with the feeling
Wait,
that you're
what?
all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable.
Oh, I see. You get the side turrets as the pilot. So you basically have, what, 4 size 3s? Or were those size 5s and size 4s? I don't know what size those guns are. I can't tell. I think the Scorpius, you can even sit at back.
Capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do.
Wait, did he call the Drake Cutlass a heavy
Coming
fighter?
aboard Paladin, you enter into this sort of armory, ready room area. You have a variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original...
You know what this kind of reminds me of actually is the Redeemer. This is going to probably fly and feel a lot like the Redeemer. The Redeemer has some pretty decent firepower on it. It's a ship that people kind of forget because a Redeemer you can't solo a Redeemer. It's just not a thing. But if you have like 2 people with you, Redeemer's actually pretty great heavy fighter.
The original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs,
like the Redeemer of old. The Drake Cutlass kind of treated as a heavy fighter. I'm just thinking like the Drake gets like, if you get hit in the Cutlass, like you die pretty quick. It's not very heavy as far as like how many hits it can take. At least from what I remember flying a Cutlass being in combat. It does combat decent, but it's more like an everything ship. I would never pin the title of heavy fighter on a Drake Cutlass ever. So when I flew the Redeemer, I felt like it was super heavy. Like very heavy. Agile, but heavy. Like you can feel the weight of the ship. Mostly with its like I forgot the word.
you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really...
With its momentum. That's the word I was looking for, momentum. Like when you're in the Redeemer, you can feel the ship's weight, but by its momentum. Like it don't slow down. And when you turn, it drifts a lot. But it can turn well. But it drifts a lot because it's momentum, because it's a heavy ship. You can feel its heaviness. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, man, this ship is heavy.
A nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup.
That looks
so
good.
Something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship. You know, the
it's
Paladin's there. Just
bigger
to
than I thought it was.
Make sure it's safe. Make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they...
Sorry, I just
basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin...
I just feel like this poor dude. He signed a contract. They're like, you gotta be on camera, dude. But I got a lazy eye. Doesn't matter. They're gonna make fun of me. Doesn't matter. Grow a mustache will take people's eye off your lazy eye.
Is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions. You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners, they're basically all equal on the ship. There's one toilet, everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you call that, you like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, there's one toilet on like every
it's
ship.
You all work together.
The mall has one toilet. Like every
The toilet seat never gets cold.
a lot of ships have one toilet.
So that's the Anvil Paladin, whilst originally...
Dude, do you guys know what size those guns are? It's an impressive mustache. Exactly. Like he grew that mustache. You didn't look at his lazy eye. But what size are these guns? Because now I'm thinking the space on the sides of the ship, it's bigger than I thought it was. Maybe these are size 5s.
A military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats.
I gotta say, the blast shield, even if it's useless and doesn't do anything, it just looks sick. It looks really cool. And it kind of gives you like that combat mode, like red light flashing kind of combat mode feel, where you like look at the window and it's a freaking blast shield. It's like, oh, time for action.
Trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica
4
from
times
Hesperia.
5s? Oh, it's 4s and 5s. Wait. Side turrets 2 times 4s each. Okay, yeah.
Manufacturer, they specialize
So that thing
in
does punch.
recreating
Holy.
exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Like, dude, the Paladin is an Andromeda constellation and a Guardian MX in one. Like, that's a lot of firepower. That's a lot.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7 foot tall.
This,
evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it.
They showed this ship in Squadron.
Needs.
They are the
I remember
relatively
this.
nasty aliens
This
that
ship
you
that
sometimes hear about
the
and
dude
haven't
runs
seen
away
much of
in.
yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
Like right at the end.
The Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower
how big is it?
Is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and
There's
the size
6
of them.
guns
So it's
on
there
it.
for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling with big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Hesperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with...
I'm having a hard time figuring out the how big these ships are. Because that, to me, I was like, oh, this is a little bit bigger than a Blade.
The majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Hesperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game. By doing this, provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Hesperia wanted for the civilian market.
It's way bigger than I think it is.
The size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer
Oh, those
Vandal
are
styling,
sick cannons.
but underneath
See, now those are bi-spoke. I always kind of have an issue with the term bi-spoke because it's like, I guess bi-spoke always for me meant like one of a kind, not like every ship has it. It's like only that ship has it. I don't mean like every ship, I mean like you buy a Honda Civic and it has rims that all Honda Civics have. To me, that's not bi-spoke. To me, bi-spoke was always, oh no, this guy got aftermarket rims. No other Civic has rims like that. So those rims are bi-spoke. I don't know. Maybe that was just my interpretation was wrong from when I first learned what bi-spoke was.
it is the same weapon that people have used for years.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the Squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, this really well-established art style and, add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure.
It looks
that kind
mean.
of webs all of the ship together. It connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship
Those are good looking
together.
thrusters.
How it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship.
Where's
that
the
kind of gives
seat?
great visibility out the front.
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and it leads you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's, you know, lots of organic detail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat kind of comes down towards you, and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically
you said like a motorbike.
riding
Okay.
into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being like carried inside.
That's
the
actually pretty
cockpit.
cool.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
Like, alien ships have to be alien, you know what I mean?
I think the
So
team's done a really good job of making
to make
something that feels different.
things work
It
completely
feels alien,
different,
but it suits our
it
lineup of
makes
ships, and it
sense.
suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the, you know, the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration
Really
from
is big.
movies and other science
That's
fiction
what she
material,
said.
but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't. Items.
This is a mission
that
giver?
Necessarily.
don't tell me this is another Wicklow thing. Dude, if this is another Wicklow thing, they haven't learned their lesson.
You couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, you know, happy customers. You know, Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who are would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
So the Shiv, well,
wait, what?
We don't really know what it is, if I'm to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly.
Why am I looking at 3 ships right now? There's a Cutlass chassis. No? And like...
is
the Valkyrie thrusters on a Cutlass? What are we doing here?
Free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
He just called that ship beautiful.
At first glance at the exterior
What is
of the
that?
Shiv, I think most people will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of a Cutlass visible there.
Dude, I don't even know what the back end is, but those are Valkyrie thrusters, and that's a Cutlass cockpit. I don't know what the rest of the ship is.
But it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, you know, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a Cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed.
Yeah, it looks...
The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets.
What are those guns? Are those bespoke to this ship? Because those guns kind of look like... kind of look like attritions, but like not like attrition. That actually, now that I look at them, they look like sawed-off attritions.
And then the changes continue onto the inside, where
Like
again,
short, stubby
it sort of
attritions.
feels Cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall.
Yeah, that's... they just have Crusader gun racks.
Instead of what was...
Dude, I'm actually all for this. This is a big old... this is like a Frankenstein ship,
there
right?
Originally.
It has lost
Dude, I didn't see this coming. Like, ever.
its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity.
The Cutlass casserole? Yeah, it's like a Cutlass trail mix. It's a ship trail mix. Makes Drake look posh. Hey, if Gray is Wicklow, but you just gotta bring him chunks of ship for rep. Yeah, no, at first I was like, oh, is this just another Wicklow dude who's like not an alien, but more of like a... But no, it doesn't seem like
what
that.
It's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really kind of nice.
So you're gonna be able to buy special stuff from him.
As ever with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
A bucket. Hey, there's toilet paper.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing.
Downgrading Drake, yeah, that's pretty hard to do. I'll be honest, the Cutlass without the 2 front wings on it actually looks pretty good. Not gonna lie.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen.
I've actually always said this, that the Cutlass Black is ugly. Aegis is an ugly ship. I really like its big fat thrusters though. Those look great. But the general shape and dimensions of the ship, it looks ugly. This looks better. In my opinion, it looks better.
Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just nothing. Just
no comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, you know, there are just many ways to find these things that...
Whoever came up with the idea at CIG to make Frankenstein ships, they need a raise.
Manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, you know, money's money.
Oh, those guns come from Gray too, don't they?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the ship is for someone that's looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
Okay, but you say unique, and now everyone in the Brothers gonna go buy one of these, and everyone's gonna have one.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement, and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's talking ship for another year. So.
Yeah, you gotta do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year, so we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
That was cringe, Jared. So these are the weapons they showed in that pack.
In October, the non-weapons are essentially the weapons that does not have a manufacturer, the weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell.
I'm kind of stoked for like other ships and weapons.
No their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of
this is just like introduction
and taped together, and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
Okay, so that's what that thing is.
I think this is the one that not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle that basically fires energy and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy. You'll see on the top of the arm,
that is so
there
weird.
is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really
like a
fun
very
way
mechanistic
of
gun.
making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow firing, hard hitting beast.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only other weapons that have this right now in the verse are the Bearing Sniper Rifle and the Coda.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Did you just say 50 cal? LMG?
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
Have you ever heard anyone say, I just want a slow firing rifle? Like things no one has said for $10. Like, no one's ever said that, bro. No one's ever said, give me a slower firing rifle. That's all I want. I don't think anyone said that. Never. No one has ever said that.
We don't have a rocket launcher of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it, it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher
Oh,
to be able to
dude.
blow up ships with a single.
That's got like crazy vibes. The this thing, I don't know what it's called. It's very World War II, put it that way.
You're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus because you've got the tube on your shoulder. And you try to aim it, you have to physically put the tube in your head.
Didn't this guy make the weapons? You would have to put the tube in your head. Bro, what is this? Sticking off the side of the tube. You know, this thing that helps you aim?
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be
Literally
able to blow
uses
up
the-
ships with
the-
a single payload in it.
Literally
You can't
uses
actually aim
the-
with
the-
apparatus because you've got the tube on your shoulder,
And
and
then
you
you
try
could-
to aim it, you have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aim apparatus.
He's not
for
the
this.
sharpest
And then we
knife in the
realized,
drawer.
like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm going to hit it.
It literally has the aiming apparatus sticking off the side right in front of your face. So literally, you would just aim at the thing, maybe just next to it with the aiming apparatus. You want to put your face down the tube to aim. Like, oh.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
I'd fire that guy.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the verse, and I
Binoculars,
think it
huh?
will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things, especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not.
So I was actually just going to say, what's the point of putting my gun away that has my 8x scope on it to pull out binoculars? Like, that doesn't make sense. But if glint, I know glint is now a thing from scopes in the game. So if you want a stealthy approach from a distance and not like this, okay, this actually makes sense now.
Something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously
Go check out Zach's gun rants. He has railed on the military's attempt to use high caliber, fully automatic weapons that shoot so fast that you're already shooting up the sky. I mean, like in games, right? Like in games, people like they don't want slower. Like I would understand in real life, like a 50 caliber automatic weapon, you don't need it to shoot fast. It's a 50 caliber weapon, right? You're not pumping rounds into one person. You just bump a couple and they're gone. Maybe even one and they're gone. But like in a game, I've never heard anyone like, oh, I want it to fire slower. Because even if you want that, you can just tap, right? So if it's firing too fast and the gun recoil is making it go up, you can just fire once and then wait for it to come down again and fire again. Like, you don't have to hold down the thing and then have your gun go up. I totally understand for real life. Like, yeah, dudes in the military are very specific about the things they like based on their experience on the weapons they've used. But in the game, I've never heard anybody ever be like, oh, I want a gun that fire slower. Like, even guns that have recoil, it's not... They say things like, I want less recoil, or like a compensator that helps the recoil or something. Not, I want it to fire slower. That's a little... It's kind of a weird statement for a gun in the game. Look at the rocket launcher and just think better technology.
Due to Glintgate, as I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances. And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like binoculars.
That makes
and
sense.
I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Depends on how you throw them.
If you use a tractor beam, probably quite a lot.
Thanks, Alexei and Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year.
Okay, so that's like introducing a whole different element to this game where they can just take all the stuff they already have, as far as like ship-wise. I don't know about the weapons. The weapons aren't like pieces of other weapons. They're like completely new, weird contraptions, which is cool. I don't think I'm ever going to use any of those. Like, I'm sorry, but if it comes down to like that AK or a P4, I'm taking a P4, but maybe that's just me. What would be cool is if they had a gun that could take different kind of magazines, right? Like, that would be freaking awesome. Where it's like, I'm out of whatever ammo. It's like, well, I'll just use this P4 ammo and just like stick it in, and then I would shoot P4 ammo. I think that would be sick. I don't know if they're ever going to do that. But as far as ships go, the Frankenstein thing is awesome. They can literally just... Because they don't have to make a whole new ship. They just have to take certain... Like, they take a chassis, delete some stuff, and then add some random new stuff. That's all they have to really do. And then the engines, they just literally took the 3D model Valkyrie engine and just slapped it on there. They could make all kinds of Frankenstein ships. Like, forever, because we already have so many ships in the game. They could take so many different parts of so many different kind of ships and make something cool. I keep saying, like, what's the point of a Vanguard? A Vanguard Frankenstein ship would probably be pretty cool if you mix like a Vanguard with like a Guardian and something else. I don't know something, but could be cool.
That's talking ship and weapons.
It's very open-minded, because now it opens up a whole different thing where it doesn't have to have like a company, right? A brand like a Crusader or an Anvil, or it's just a random hodgepodge mix of whatever, and that's cool. I think people are gonna like that ship a lot. I wonder how it's selling.
Unless anyone else is gonna...
I'm so out of the loop. The last 2 weeks I've been like just out, and so this is all new to me. You guys are all like telling me stuff I don't know. Multiple ammo types without magic would be... Yeah, like, obviously I'm not talking about like a gun that can take both SMG ammo and LMG ammo, right? I'm just talking about a gun that's like, it can take, like, you'd have 3 like there'd be an LMG Frankenstein gun, but it can take like any of the LMG ammo because it just has like one you stick in the side, one you stick in the bottom or on the top or whatever. I think that would be freaking awesome. Because then it's kind of really worth it, you know? To me, I don't see a purpose for these guns. I don't see them outshining any of the other guns. It really is just an aesthetic. And I don't know what attachments they can take. If they can take all the regular attachments, maybe it's not so bad. Currently, I don't see a point to shooting ballistic and laser rounds at the same time. It's a cool idea. It's very mechanistic, and I do like mechanistic things. I've said that a lot about this game. It's one of the things I like about Star Citizen is everything is very mechanistic. Like opening a door, lowering a ramp, the guns. I noticed not too long ago I was firing an LMG in space, and I realized all the shells are just like floating in space next to me, like after I fired the gun. And it's like, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, same-ish caliber, different magazines. Yeah, I think that's... I just came up with that idea now. I don't know if I could somehow get that idea to them, because I think they could do it. If you're making Frankenstein guns, it opens up things so much as far as for the design teams to make just whatever. I like that.
Come and tell me something else.
It's very Pyro.
It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Well. That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the verse. And they're all available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three. So you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live.
Oh, so these games, all these ships are already in the game.
Any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch. We've got these cool new Levski desk mat things. These are always popular. There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium t-shirt earlier today with a bunch of links to offerings from our...
You will never catch me in a Wicklow t-shirt, ever. You guys will have to pay me to wear that. Pulverizer is amazing at the moment. Pulverizer? I don't know what that is. How much longer do we have here? What else is going to show? Okay, hold on, guys. I'm going to be back in like... I didn't realize how much more of this there is. I'm going to be back. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. Let's keep going.
To spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well.
That's what that LMG is called, the pulverizer. I have a P9. That thing is awesome. It's a belt fed, or a drum belt fed. It's like a minigun. P8. Oh wait, now I'm thinking of the FS55 or F55 or I don't know.
And what else can I show? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins.
Oh,
Who
you guys
doesn't
got a
love
coin?
challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also
plastic.
a digital one of these in the goodies pack. So you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I show? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Here we go. Excuse me. Hi. How you doing? That was my best angle. Hey, I got to be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's you. This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Different aspects of the game, you got the we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got
That's
the
pretty
ever-present,
sick.
Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Duskers
Mycord armor
right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here, got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna go over here.
That's a lot of 3D printing.
Can you see me?
Is that scale?
All right. So yeah, and
that looks crazy big.
what are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016 where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm going to come over here. Do devs deserve coffee?
This is very cringe.
Competition winners.
I don't
We
care
have the list
about your
for
bar.
the CitizenCon winners, the people made the videos. They're behind me. Look.
There's nothing behind
I made me pizza. Like 3 different kinds of pizza here.
I don't want to watch you eat pizza, Jared. I want to see CitizenCon.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
Crafting.
We sure can. Roll, BT.
Man, that's cringe.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever ways you want. But that doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting
That's funny,
is
yeah.
going to change everything from
That always bugged me,
resource
you couldn't get
gathering,
pizza in the
refining,
game.
and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items
I want that
you
helmet.
can craft weapons and armor. For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships. We have gear. We have things that...
This is why I like Star Citizen so much, because part of immersion is not making up some BS system where it's like all these numbers and stuff, right? Like personally, I don't even have much of a problem with like when you go buy a like a shield generator or something, it doesn't give you numbers of like, you know, like the stats. It's like I don't when you get immersed in a game, you don't need stats. You need experience. So I'm going to buy something, I'm going to put it on my ship. It's either good from my experience or it's bad from my experience, and I get rid of it and I use something else, right? I like how Star Citizen is more about the feel of something than its stats. Now, obviously, there are websites that have gone and statted out every single thing in the game, but which give you a good idea of how good or how bad something is before you go buy it, sure. But I've always liked how it's not like, oh, you got to this level, now you unlocked this thing. I always liked that about this game. And I know a lot of people complain about the progression. Oh, there's no progression. It's like, I don't want progression. Like, I don't mind like a reputation with a certain faction, like that kind of thing. But as far as like, oh, you get to unlock, it's like, no. Like, let me just get stuff as I get stuff. I shouldn't have to, like, get to a level so that I'm allowed to have something, access to something. I should just, my experience should give me access to the thing, right? It's kind of like imagine with the hangars, with the executive hangars. Imagine you couldn't go there unless you were, like, you were a certain rank. Like, this is the thing that really annoyed me with Elite Dangerous. It's like, no, you can't buy that ship because you're not the right rank. It's like, what? Then you have to go like do a thing just so you can buy a ship, and then once you buy the ship, it's still not good enough. You then have to like upgrade. I don't like MMOs. Maybe that's probably my issue, but I love like what he just said there. It's not like other MMOs. It's not level based and like things are all locked behind, you know, like items are all I like how it's just very open for the most part, and I prefer it that way. Because then there's no like it's a skill difference, not a, you know, you don't like when you get into a game and like, I guess I'm not a Call of Duty person, but way back in the day when it was like, oh, this guy's Prestige 15, and someone just started playing the game a week ago, and then you're like, you know what I mean? There's no like, someone who just started playing the game, they're not as good as someone else because they haven't been playing it for it as long, not because they don't have access to less than the person who's been playing it for a long time has. Everyone can kind of access things when they want to go access them, instead of like, oh, that's another thing with Elite Dangerous. The faction weapons, you would have to join a faction for a month before you, and then do a thing every week before you could access a weapon. It's levels are just gatekeeping, and I don't like it. So that's why it's one of the reasons I like Star Citizen over other games, we'll say.
You create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve, and those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress in Star Citizen. Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items, it's also
I think it's kind of funny that in the game, your name is Hey, would you blow me? And you're sitting there throwing hot dogs at bad people. It just like it reminds me of the saying like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. It's kind of funny.
Fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Dude, I gotta learn to mine again.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to
Keep
influence the
saying that.
item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials
like this.
to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them
Like
to
you
craft.
can
and
make
the different
See, this is like
increased.
They're calling it engineering, but crafting, but really it's engineering, because you're taking like a blueprint of something and you're getting like better quality minerals and metals and whatever to make it specific, like better. And it's done in a somewhat realistic way where it's I guess that's why they've been adding like pristine and like levels, grades, I guess, of things.
Based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just
so much of the time I'm still
it's
just going to use attritions though.
that you know will get you the stats for the.
I wonder if you could somehow build attritions that have a faster fire speed. If that's a thing, that's the meta. Instantly, that's going to be the meta.
The item that you desire, and it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can.
Whoa. I guess this is going to be the new inventory screen eventually. I don't know when we're going to get this, but that looks much better. It's like they're not even in a gray box right now. It looks like that's weird. That looks good though. I'm just trying to like look at all the because at first it looks super different, but it's not actually that different. It looks good.
See what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have in your inventory.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources.
Bro, I know. So, when I saw the past 2 weeks when I've been like sick and dying, I keep getting notifications, and it's always someone telling me you can't wear clothes, like to my clothing and armor tutorial video. It's like, this doesn't work anymore. Just like, no. And then when I got on yesterday, I went to make an outfit to see, you know, what doesn't work, whatever. And yeah, there's no invisible undersuits. I had 4 of them, I think. All of them are gone. But I do have my invisible chest piece. So I can still at least wear an undersuit with a backpack and not have to, because I don't like bulky at all, because I don't do a lot of combat. So yeah, that kind of crushed me. No more Drip Citizen. Which honestly just kind of pisses me off, because it wasn't breaking the game for anybody. It wasn't ruining anything. They had no reason to do what they did. But it also showed that the technique of the glitch is not something they could fix, right? The nature of it, you can't fix that. It's taking advantage of the very very tedious time split between interacting, and they can't fix that. So what do? They probably, someone told me they made the weight of the invisible, so someone went out and got a new invisible undersuit, because I guess they're still in the game. It's just, he said the weight was like 9 tons for an invisible undersuit. And then, I mean, people were telling me all about it. I gotta go through again, and I don't know if I'll make another video, but I gotta go to that video and update it so people know it doesn't work. Which kind of sucks. That video's, not gonna lie, that video's been making me a decent amount of money. It's wild, because I don't even think it's over 30,000 views, but I'll just be honest, it may be like almost $200 just that one video.
To different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced sometime later. You'll be able to get the result
on
on the preview. You'll be able to click to craft. aspects of the item.
I keep seeing
Once
this
you're
thing in
happy
different
with what you see
places.
on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll
So
get
can you
queued
just
up,
put this, like,
and
on a
your
ship,
result will
or-
be produced sometime later. You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship.
Dude, this is so much better than what they make it. So this is mobile crafting. This is go craft anywhere you want. Because you could just pick that whole thing up with you and take it wherever you want with you. You just stick it on a ship like that, craft in your ship, just go leave it somewhere, I don't know, on a planet, put it in a cave. Bro, you can just have a cave hideout, craft stuff in a cave. You can be, what's his name, Iron Man, Tony Stark.
You want to use it from there.
That is really cool.
There'll be a small amount of blueprints you get credited to your account just to
You could just
test
stick this
and
on a
mess around,
ship.
but the vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe
That
it'll
guy's
do
way
some more
too
damage,
happy.
or your armor will have great. You'll be able to
Like,
increase
that's
and improve
pure
item stats
psycho.
that are relevant to your gameplay.
Look at that smile. He's got a Valacar tattoo. He's way too happy killing things.
Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of mass amounts of data and mass amounts of users using it. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on tech preview by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can release it when it's ready.
When it's ready. I don't like that.
So, that...
Because the thing with like these tech previews is we've seen now when someone leaks something, they have to like restart the entire test with a whole new, unless I guess with a preview maybe it's more open, kind of like Pyro was. I want that crafting now. That is so awesome that you just pick it up with a tractor beam and just like take it with you wherever.
It's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored?
I think I'm allergic to the word bespoke at this point. Just say unique.
To individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
Instancing.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere.
Yeah, it's a redeemer.
Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy. PvP me, bro. But
Oh
like
man,
most
that was
MMOs,
cringe.
a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience.
Look, I'm not a PvP person, but I don't know if instances are needed. is this the forum dads, the solo player forum dads being like, gankers everywhere, and so now they're like, oh, we'll give you an instance just for you. As long as this doesn't lead to private servers. I do not want private servers. Private servers destroyed Elite Dangerous. Like, you play that game for 3 days straight and not run into a single freaking person anywhere. Because everyone's in their own session or in a private session with their own org. And it's just like, dude, I'd rather get ganked like once a week and have a bunch of other people around instead of just like, oh, it's just me in the verse all by myself. I don't know if I'm into instancing. Yeah, like we don't need instancing. Like see, this bothers me. You guys just spent probably like $600 million building a game where you don't need instancing, and now you're gonna add instancing probably because of some like obese neckbeard forum dads or like, I want to, I don't want to get interrupted or whatever. Dude, interruption is like it's part of the experience, part of the immersive nature of it. When I go down into an ASD facility, it's like the enemies down there aren't the only thing you got to watch out for. So you got to like other players down here. Like, I mean, there was one time I went down there, I was just watching a player. I think I was waiting for someone to join me or something, and then there was a player down there ahead of me, and I was just watching him, and then later on we ran into him. I think Equinox just killed him. It's like, dude, that's why we don't like instancing, because it's like, it's just more open. It's more of a sandbox. It's anything can happen. When you're going into an instance, it's anything can happen. It's gatekeeping at the end of the day. So someone can have their little solo experience. And it's like, if you want a solo experience, go play Elite Dangerous. Go play Starfield, because it's an only solo experience. Like, Star Citizen was never meant to be like that. And so it's weird they're taking a turn into instancing. Maybe they can do some cool things with it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
So before anybody says this is only...
Don't forget when we were one of the ASD facilities, we had someone come into the facility. It never became a problem, but then you start shooting. Yeah. There was another player. You killed a player when we were in the main room. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if it was the same person either. I think it was. But you definitely killed a player. Because I remember looking down at him and he had like the glowing like Valakar horn armor set. So I know it wasn't a... I don't know if you killed... Maybe you got killed by the NPCs. I'm pretty sure you killed him though. No, it was before JP joined us. I think you killed him. I think you might have thought he was an NPC. But that was the same guy that I had seen previously that I thought fell down and died. But it was the same guy. We ran into him later. Exactly. That's a good point, Haywood. Squadron 42 is for the solo people. You have your whole solo experience, cinematic solo experience. I just don't think we need instancing. But again, maybe they can do some cool things that we're not thinking of with instancing. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to work.
PvE thing. This technology can also be applied to unlock curated...
I mean, if you think about it, we already have instancing, right? With the hangar. When you get in an elevator, you are getting into your own instance, to your hangar. So like that, right? They could use instancing... I don't want them to use it to separate players entirely. That doesn't
PvP
make sense.
experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that
Okay, because that's also another thing. They could have missions that are instances, but anyone can join it. So maybe it's like a, you know, you gotta take over a ship, but other players can jump into that instance, but then that instance is not in the regular PU, so that ship you're in isn't being shot by like other ships. It's more of like using a ship as an arena, as a map for a PvP match. But it's not a match, it's like a mission. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangers, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas.
That is crazy. Dynamic mesh into instances.
Allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join an open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Orison?
Siege of Orison was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario.
Why would you need
where
this
the
to be
player
instance?
had to run through and progress through contested islands of Orison. This was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and make it better for you in a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing.
Okay. Okay, so this actually could make sense. Instancing for maybe missions, so that you don't get there and someone's already been there and everything's done already. Because that happens in... That kind of happens in the ASD facilities a bit, actually. As far as like doing things for the mission. The first time I went into the ASD facility, there was like a whole bunch of steps I just never had to... We didn't have to do because someone had already been there and done them. So I could see how this could be useful.
And building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about a 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier.
Not a
Some of you
sniper.
will be the medic who sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of
It's my underwater helmet.
And some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people, but when we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a instance that you could go in and play solo, or if it was a public event that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
I'm excited, to say the least, to bring back Siege of Orison.
actually instancing could make sense because sometimes, like, if everyone tries to go somewhere at the same time, it, like, this, you can feel when you're in a place in the verse and there's a lot of people there. I mean, it's like when you go to IAE or something, you know, there's like 100 other players in that same server as you, and the FPS, you can feel when there's a lot of players near you because the FPS drops. So when that guy was talking about utilizing the full, like, ability of the mesh, it's like, yeah, like, everyone's at the Siege of Orison, like half the shard is at the Siege of Orison, but they're all been separated into different instances so that there's only 15 to 20 people in your server at the end of the day. So this makes more sense. It's not traditional instancing like we're used to, I think.
2-star Citizen, and so
it's more like a tool to
expand. We have for instancing and really get it back to sort of a core experience point where it should be.
For like efficiency.
So while the next season is quite heavily focused on Nyx, I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems as well.
Yes, and while things like Genesis, interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Orison, and more will reveal next year, we'll continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and, you know, more structural place, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place.
Kind of reminds me of escaping from the prison.
Not everybody has what it takes to
Maybe
come
like
down
a
there
puzzle
and
kind of
do the
a
job
vibe.
that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into there, take out the outlaws, and get the facility working again.
So it's like
So
maintenance missions
literally
2.0.
a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but, you know, they have, like, maybe polluted air because it's not being cleared properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Poop mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into, like, some vents. It's like a 3-layered system where there's 3 chapters.
This will be mission-driven and repeatable. Everything from mining to salvage to combat to investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's a real sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression. But it'll be
Seems
the
cool.
instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group. So you're going to be able to play a part of it, make your progress, and then log off. And then the next time you come online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow players to return back to it at different states depending on how much you've progressed, and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them in faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though. Or not.
I'll be honest, I've never really understood people that put the chat on the screen, on the stream, because the chat's right next to the screen. Everyone can see it anyway. I'm never gonna do that, by the way, just because I don't see a purpose, because you can all just see the chat right there. Okay, I don't care about the social media stuff.
I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus digital CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year, CitizenCon is a monumental task for.
Yeah, we know.
They had to know. But doing CitizenCon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies.
Yeah, we can tell.
They tend to
a lot of cringe.
Sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh yeah. So we thought we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage of some of the more candid moments from the filming of CitizenCon over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and take a look at that. Let's see what they put together.
We're not, actually. Oh, they're updating the roadmap?
Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyrer took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we end this year's CitizenCon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year, to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well, fortunately, nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenithreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like they're believable and real-life locations. And if you look throughout this year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player. And I think story is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now, that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January,
we need a flight model, guys.
Patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not have been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months,
So
sometimes
like
5 months.
the flight model and quantum boosting not being ready, so we can't get an updated navigation.
I don't think it's good for the development team.
System.
I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for Align and Mine. People probably don't know, but Align and Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning, in FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering, and crafting.
Oh yeah, that's wild. We
and
still don't have engineering.
Are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up.
Only because of server meshing.
Play sessions are up.
Not because of all the other stuff they listed. Just
been a
server
solid
mission.
year. But CitizenCon isn't CitizenCon without talking about the future. So I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story. We've talked about this more diegetic, immersive universe and adding voice lines and stuff like this. But where do we go from here? Obviously that continues, but what more are we going to do to make this universe seem alive and real and breathing?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you.
Right.
You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part
I'm
would
gonna add
be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to
LLMs
be working
to
towards
mission
very
givers.
soon, with Battaglia being the first one coming back in the verse. And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards, you know, to have cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions are still on North Star.
This guy doesn't say much.
Next year as well.
He says a lot of words.
When mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse.
Yes, we
in
know
the
what
open
instance
world
is.
environment. So I think that's where, when we look at instancing provides us one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless
This guy should run for office.
In style instancing.
There's a lot of words
the
that mean the
persistent
same thing.
universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen is. But you mentioned last year these three pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those three pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the three pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the third pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking made a game.
I can't listen to this guy.
World.
I don't know what
You know,
I don't know what it
naught
is.
to
I just
offer.
can't do
Talk
it.
about solo instance experience.
I think he said instancing like 12 times.
Some are going to be closed
in like different
instances.
ways.
For us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment so that you can understand how to play.
Yeah, instancing for tutorials might be
but
good.
We'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want.
That guy's hard to listen to. I don't even care if you're saying important things.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes: combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid-next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
That's better. Oh, is this like battles?
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run it into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
Attack a station?
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this base where you will find 3 big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is where you want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
This looks pretty cool. It's a big old battle.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Damn, that thing looks really overpowered.
Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
I wonder if you could take out the turrets to get the capital ships closer,
send out
though.
your best pilots to navigate the superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective, the power relays.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed so that you can't get in.
You have to find them, you have to target them, and you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator, or even another fighter with ballistics loadout. That's going to take you a while.
So it would be like a massive
Once the power
team
relays have
effort.
been taken down, the station opens up.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you, in your ship, fly into the superstructure of this station.
How cool is that?
I feel like this is a proud dad moment.
So,
we're just going to call it what it is. It's a trench run.
yeah, I was just gonna say that. It's a trench run.
So as you enter the structure,
Is it at least
you'll
difficult?
see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out. There's 3 arms to the station that have these trenches. You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
You're either gonna do it multiple times, or you need to bring friends.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
There are objects to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're going to have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as an big open space as I thought it would be. So it's going to be difficult just to fly through there, most likely. It also doesn't look like it's lit that well.
The core to overheat, which means
so visually it's going to be difficult.
From the inside and also from exhaust ports on the outside of the station. This core is armored and just takes a whole lot of damage. Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer.
They're bringing Star Wars to Star Citizen.
All of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're going to get our new feature in: ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're going to be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other
you
ships
don't have
that
an
are
Idris?
designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those two ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has an Idris there that can provide
Oh,
a safe
sick.
port in a storm, allow you
There'll
to
be an
set
NPC
back
in
up and
Idris.
head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too.
Because I was just going to say, like, you're going to force us to use ballistic weapons? Like, they're going to run out, then you have to go back to station to, like, rearm? It's like, no, there's an NPC address you can land on and rearm. It's like, that is awesome.
Because now another group of ships is coming to
It's like
attack the
scaling
People's Alliance
battle,
Idris.
like the whole battle thing out. I did not see something like this coming. This is actually really awesome.
So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station? Well, that's where the dropships come in.
Now you've got to take a fire team in. You've got to land. You've got to fight through an onslaught of FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction. And you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the hostage situation. It's
After
like
you've
so
opened
much
the
going
doors
on.
And that person's taken off, you've just got to make sure they get to safety.
So at this point, all of this sounds pretty simple, but there's an additional complication.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
They're gonna throw the Vandal in.
The Vandal neighbors who
Yeah.
really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you
What a
and the
wild,
station.
what a
They're-
wild event.
When you alert the Vandal by destroying the power core that the station's now vulnerable, you're on a time limit. Vandal are coming, they're going to come hard, they're going to keep coming, you're going to have one hell of a fight.
Yeah, it looks insane. It's a Vandal capital ship? Oh, of course they ended there. Technically, that's just an asset from Squadron,
Tactical
right?
strike groups. I'm personally so invested in this. So throughout 2025, we created a variety of content.
Tactical
Some
strike
of it was very
groups.
focused on FPS combat. So personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me.
Which is my
This
thing.
a
I love
defining
flying
statement
ships.
that I want to do in 2026. We're a spaceship game. There are prized possessions. To the objects we fall in love with. This is the content we want to create, which creates scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships. We won't get to all roles initially, but we should see this as a landmark, a position where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes the use of different ships.
They said halfway through
scenarios to
2026.
clear objectives and
I guess
complete
that's 9
missions
months away.
in a
It's
variety
plenty
of
time.
roles. And in the future, we can use this to expand on. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're gonna be fantastic.
They look pretty awesome. They're gonna be a mess when they release. They're not gonna work.
Okay. John, come home. All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years that PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships, and as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those, and our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi, Aaron Roberts. Aaron Roberts.
Is that Chris's brother?
But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations, in any other MMO they'd call dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. Again, this is just a glimpse at some of what's coming in 2026. I've seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat like, oh, you're spoiling everything.
Is
I
there
promise,
a
we ain't.
chairman thing? Yeah.
So before we let you go, that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as with every CitizenCon, the last word shouldn't be mine. It should belong to our founders and CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from Squadron 42 into the persistent universe, will make next year the most exciting yet for Star Citizen. Finally, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part or funded by any of the few remaining mega game companies. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
People do not realize if CIG was not independent, either none of this would happen or it would look so different and the game would be released already, but it would be underwhelming and it would be nothing close to what it is now. They would never have gotten the money to make Genesis. They would have just rented some other slop to put their slop on top and put it out, and it would be an unfinished release game, and everyone would be like, oh, it's released. They've done it the right way. It's very different, and so a lot of people don't understand it. But it's working. Obviously, it's working. They're making over $100 million a year. They're probably going to make $150 million this year. Like, no problem. Because they were 40% ahead of year to date than last year. And we still have IAE coming up, which is going to be releasing a bunch of ships, like the Perseus and stuff. So they're going to make so much money this year, and it's crazy when people say it's a scam. It's like, obviously it's not, like, obviously there's something there that people keep spending their money on, right? If everyone felt like they were being scammed, the drop-off of how much money gets spent it wouldn't go up, it would go down, right? $100 million, $85 million. Next year, $75 million. Next year, $60 million. If it was a scam, people were feeling like they were being scammed, they wouldn't keep spending their money. And so, whatever they're doing is working. And the fact they're independent means they don't have shareholders knocking on their door every quarter being like, where's the numbers? Like, where's the profit? You know? And instead of just, like, that's the thing, Chris Roberts could sell CIG right now for $100 million and just wander off into retirement and be a very wealthy, his children's children would have everything, you know? And instead of just taking the easy way and being like, oh, I'm successful, I'm just going to cash out, he's seeing it through. And that's the thing, like, you don't get, when you have shareholders and massive corporate fingers all over your product, it's you can't make independent decisions. You can't see it through. The deadline is the deadline, and then that's done, right? It's much better. It takes longer, but you're never going to get a good quality game that was made in 4 years. That's like super expansive, very detailed, you know. It's it also really bothers me when people say Star Citizen's a tech demo. No, CitizenCon is a tech demo. We just watched the tech demo. If you don't want a tech demo, then go play the PU. It's that simple. It's not a tech demo anymore. Also, people always say it's not a game. It's like, if you say Star Citizen's not a game at this point, you're clearly either have never played it or not playing it currently. Because there's so much to do. I don't have, like, I stream like 25 hours a week, and I don't have time to do everything. 25 hours a week, I still don't have time to do all the things there are to do. So, and that's currently, like, all this other stuff that's coming. I thought, like, next year was going to be a feature focus year, and it's like all these events and all these other mission types and stuff. They mentioned fueling missions. It's like, wow. There's been fuel ship in the game for a long time, and it's, you know, no reason. I do wonder about data missions. We've had data running ships in the game for half a decade, and there's just still no data running gameplay. I would like to see more of that. They got to do the flight model, man. We need a flight model. Like, the navigation sucks, but in order to bring in a good navigation system, we need the quantum boosting and the flight model done, finalized, so that then they can actually bring a navigation system in that makes sense with the flight model and works together. But until the flight model comes out, we can't do nothing about the navigation. Because the star map sucks and the navigation sucks. It just does. But I understand why it does. So, but anyway, I was maybe thinking of jumping on the game and doing a little low fly, but I can't because I have a doctor's appointment super early in the morning. So I have to jump off. But I gotta say, the Genesis stuff, I think the Genesis stuff would blow anybody away. Anyone that's paying attention to video game development in 2025, you see that stuff and it's like, whoa, that must have cost a lot of money. But anyway, that's going to be it for tonight's stream. I was just going to hop on and hang out, watch CitizenCon because I completely missed it. And tomorrow, I think I can stream tomorrow. We'll see. Things are kind of like off and on, but I'm gonna be having a new streaming schedule, so you guys might you guys might stop by the channel at the regular time, because for like the last 6 months or something, I've been streaming at between like 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Eastern time. That's gonna change. I'm gonna be streaming I'll probably be streaming random. So if you show up at the regular time and there's no stream, there's a good chance I streamed earlier. Maybe you just want to watch the replay, or I'm still gonna stream at night, just not 5 nights a week. It'll be probably 5 days a week, and then like on the weekends or something, I'll stream at night. Also, because of all the changes, like a lot has changed, so I'm gonna be very full time on YouTube, and my sleep schedule's also changed. So I'll be around all day and in the evenings, but like right now this is like late for me. Whereas usually I stop streaming at like midnight, 2 a.m. Eastern, and then I'm usually awake for like another 3 hours, like editing videos and like doing that sort of thing. But basically my bedtime's in like half an hour. So I stay up later than I should on the weekdays watching. So that's excellent news for me. Yeah, I won't be on it. I want to use the night, the evenings. Basically, I want to work in the day, eat dinner, and then like edit videos, work at night, but edit videos. But sometimes I'll stream at night. Like, like Fridays, probably I might even stream twice a day, honestly. It might be like I'll start a stream like after lunchtime kind of deal to like dinner time. And then maybe I don't have much editing or anything going on, so I might jump on and stream again in the evening. It all depends. I'm going to have more time to do things. So hopefully that all works out. But anyways, that is the end of today's stream. It's good to be back. Hopefully I can get a home again in the game so that I can I guess you don't really need a home. I want to go try to do some of that Pyro stuff. I don't know what's going on in Pyro. I don't know what's going on with the event. I gotta figure that out. And then I want to get back to low flying. It's been too long since I had a good low fly session. When I was super sick, I don't know what day it was. It was like last week, I think. I jumped into Arena Commander just to do some like target practice, I guess. And I did some pirate swarms. And I killed an Idris in an arrow. It took like 45 minutes. I literally killed an Idris with an arrow, but it did take me 45 minutes. And some NPC help. But, so I have a bunch of credits now. Or what do they call them? REC? R-E-C in Arena Commander. So I can now, like, I can rent a bunch of ships and weapons, and I can do a bunch of other cool stuff in Arena Commander. But, anyways, I hope everyone has a good day or a good night, whatever side of this planet you're walking on. And, always remember to, what is it? Don't fake a smile, do what makes you smile. That's what I say. And, we will see everyone later. Bye, everyone.